Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to our weekly live event. We're going to go over personal finance, investing, retirement planning, and recently getting a lot of questions on the EIDL loan. So I'm happy to help you guys. Send in your questions, request to go live, send in your questions in the questions section, and also on live on YouTube, so send in your questions there as well. All right. Welcome back, everybody. It's great to see everybody. All right. Sarah, what's up? Shen, what's going on? How can you get money? I mean, one of the ways we're getting money now is the EIDL loan. When will they announce the winner? I think Kevin Hart's announcing the winner. I thought he was announcing it today, but I'm not sure. Who won? I don't know who won. What's up, Johnny? Salute. Hey, what's up, Pascal? Bendy, what's good? Derek, what's going on? How's everybody's day been? So Brad has a question. His question is, will the housing crash you're predicting hit multifamily as well as single family? So yes, it's going to affect multifamily as well. The smaller the multifamily units are, the more they're going to be affected. So condos are going to get hurt the worst, then townhouses, housing is going to be hurt after that, duplexes, triplexes, then quadplexes. So it should go in that order. The larger the property, the better you're going to be. You're going to be able to stand a bigger hit. But let me say this: because of the all of these cities are not allowing evictions. So if they continue to not allow evictions, then even larger landlords are going to be affected. And I think they're going to be affected more than smaller ones, because it's a lot easier to not pay rent to someone you don't know. But if you know the local landlord and they've been supporting you, you're more likely to pay your bills. So that's my opinion. So I think that us smaller investors that are, have a relationship with our tenants, I think we're going to do very well. Hey, what's up, Mike and wife? What's up, baby? What's up, Chris, MJ, Cal? What's up, guys? Good to see everybody again. Hope you brought your questions. We're going to get in that. We're going to get in it real soon. Anthony says, so Anthony, I'm happy to teach, man. Bring your questions. I'm happy to teach, guys. What's up, DJ? All right, question is, who are you? I'm Pascal. At 19, I started investing in real estate. At 23 years old, I was able to purchase 23 units. Basically, I became financially free, learning all this information from different mentors. I own an insurance agency. I have an accounting firm. I have a mortgage company. I have a real estate investment company. So you'll see me go through my day and my stories, looking at different properties, fixing them up, showing you what broke, how to fix it, why I'm buying certain properties, why I'm selling certain properties, and I'll tell you about what the direction of the investing market and the real estate market's going into, how everything's moving, and basically feedback from the different meetings I go into with other investors. So as I've been saying for a while, the market's going to go down in 2020, 2021. I was actually saying this prior to the coronavirus. If you look into my IG videos I put out in August of last year. The reason the market's going down has less to do with the coronavirus than we think, right? Our market is actually weak. We have a lot of problems with our economy, and the coronavirus just exposed it faster. The market was going to go down 2021 either way. Again, check out the video from August of 2019, and you'll see why I made this prediction. I'm in Florida. So Tim said, thoughts on wholesaling property? And is there any way to get ahead of the real estate game at the age of 16? So Tim, I started studying real estate when I was 14. I was able to buy my first deal when I was 19. and how I was able to make good decisions was by studying my market. If you're going to flip shoes, if you're going to flip video games, if you're going to flip cards, if you're going to flip coins, if you're going to flip real estate, stocks, Forex, anything you do requires you to understand your market. So you have to study your market. You have to know it very well. If you're going to flip shoes, you're going to need to know which shoe is a collectible and which isn't. So by knowing your brand, by knowing your market, by studying your market, you're going to become an expert and you're going to do well. Now, the one thing I would say is don't go after Forex or crypto or whatever just because you think it's cool. Because trust me, something else is going to come by and it's going to be cool. You got to find out what you love, what you like to do. So if it's shoes, if it's cards, if it's coins, if it's cars, figure out what your thing is and then focus on that and study that. Because it isn't that hard to flip cars either, right? You can buy a car for $3,000 and sell it for $5,000. And all you have to do is do that like a few times a month and you're going to be living pretty comfortable. So figure out what your game is, Tim, and then just stick to it. Because I didn't really get good. Like right now, you see me where I am today. I'm 34, but I've been studying this game for a long time. So it's not overnight that you get here. But when you get here, it's pretty sweet. All right. Brad says, can a person that gets a fourplex put less than 20% down if we live in the unit and rent the other 3 using the conventional 30-year fixed? Thanks, Pascal. Brad, yes, you can. You can still get an FHA loan with 3.5% down and live in one side, rent out the other 3 sides. At that point, some people will be like, I don't want to pay PMI. Good news is if you upgrade the units and you purchase the property at the right price, you'll be able to increase the value. And within 6 months to 2 years, you should be able to have built enough value that you'll be able to do a refinance and assess that the value is worth more than what you bought it for. And you've added value by your upgrades. And then you can refinance into a lower interest rate and remove the PMI, which puts more money in your pocket. That is the game that I played. So at 19, I bought my first duplex. 20, I bought another one. 21, I bought another. And actually by 21, I bought like back to back units because I was finally able to perfect the game. Anthony, what's good? So Anthony says, I'm not a U.S. citizen, but I'm interested in the concept of real estate. Good news. You don't have to be a real estate citizen to invest in real estate. Okay? You can still buy real estate without being a citizen. Now, again, you are going to be required to have more money down by being a non-citizen, but you can still buy real estate. Paul says, you sound like my cousin, Puppy. Man, he's a con artist and a dirtbag. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but if you follow my page and just look at the different educational pieces I have on there, you're going to see that my information is valid, and feel free to study what you want. And if you don't want to follow me, follow someone else that you study. But either way, whatever you do, invest in your financial knowledge, because that's the only way you're going to be able to climb out of poverty. No one's going to pull us out. You have to just figure out and study and climb out, because there is a lot of people out there that are trying to trick you. So if you study enough, you're going to hear the same information from multiple sources, right? Different books, different podcasts, and you're going to eventually see, wow, I'm hearing this from many different people, so this has to be true. Brian, what's up? Josh, what's up? I'm located in the Caribbean. Where can I study my market? So the good news about studying your market is you can go on Zillow, you can go on Realtor, you can go on Facebook, you can go on many different sites and see what are properties selling for, what did they sell for, what are they being rented for. And by you absorbing all this information, and you can figure out what each property is worth. Can I buy a multi-unit and live in it rent-free? Yes, you can. So if you buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex, the larger the unit, the easier it is for you to buy it, live in it, and basically not pay anything. So, yeah. You know any good roofers? I do, but most of the roofers I know are in the Tampa Bay area. What's up, Queen? What's up, Pete? What up, Zeph? It's good, guys. All right, DJ says this is... Hey, what's up?
What's up?
So what question do you have for us?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess not. All right. So do I have a minimum cap rate you would accept? So Brad, I don't really have a minimum cap rate. What I would look for is value. So for example, the last property I purchased, I bought it at a 0 cap. It was empty. It was actually a negative cap if you think about it, because you were bringing no money in. It was not positive at all. But I knew that when I bought it, I bought it for about $950,000, and with about $700,000 investment in that property, I was able to turn it into like a 10 plus cap property. So don't only focus on the cap rate you're purchasing, focus on what you could make it, how much you can increase it. Because by you forcing appreciation, that's where you're going to build your big wealth, forcing appreciation. Got a lot of requests to go live. What's the longest you've been without tenants? About
Hey, what's
2
up,
months.
man? How are you?
Hey, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
I'm a big fan of your post, man. Hey, you're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I live in New York. I'm 23 years old. I dropped out of college during my second year of studying because I got an internship at a bank working in Tokyo.
Oh,
I
cool,
left
cool.
my parents' house. Yeah, dude, I'm bilingual. I'm fluent in Spanish.
Nice,
So
nice.
they needed somebody who was fluent in Spanish in Japan, which is
Kind
a
of,
little bit odd to
yeah.
say. And I went over there and I was working for a bank and handling customers who only spoke English and Spanish.
Okay,
I learned to become a day trader
okay.
working at that bank. Then I came back last year in December, back at my mom and dad's house. I've been finally able to trade with my own capital. I work very hard to pull myself out of poverty, like you said.
Yep.
It's only the mindset, man. It was growing up as a middle class household. You think that all you really have is go to school and get a job. Not really. It's if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish so much more. And right now, I saved $150K for a down payment on a multi-unit,
That's
and
good.
I'm done with the extremely high cost of living in New York,
Mhm.
and I'm looking forward to move to Florida and buy a house down there and work from home. And I don't know. Do you know anything about Florida? Do you recommend Tampa, Miami?
So I live in Florida and I invest in Florida, right? I'm in
Wow.
Clearwater, Florida. It's rated the #1 natural beach in the country. So most of my property is in that area.
Is that Broward County?
Huh?
Broward County?
No. Pinellas County. It's next to Tampa.
Nice.
So next to Tampa is Pinellas. In Pinellas County, there's Clearwater Beach, which is the #1 beach in the country, #1 natural beach in the country. It's really beautiful. So that's where most of my rental properties are. A lot of rich people live down here. A lot of people that from up north move down here. And one thing I want to mention, huh?
I said even Tom Brady moved over there.
Tom Brady, yeah, he's gonna play for the Bucks, which is in Tampa.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a good year. Super Bowl is gonna be in Tampa this year. So we got Brady, we got the Super Bowl. So it's gonna be an interesting year for Tampa. So now I want to hit on some topics that you mentioned. So one, you don't have to live where you invest. And you can live where you want to live and you can invest where you want to invest. And they don't have to be the same place. Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind, because some people can make a lot of money in New York and a lot of money in LA. And it doesn't mean they need to leave just because it's not the best place to invest. New York, LA, Chicago, because the laws, the return on investment, it's not there. It's not that profitable. Now, Florida, Texas, Arizona.
State tax is killing me right now, man.
State tax is
It's
killing
ridiculous.
you. The laws, The laws are not in your favor as a landlord in those states.
Yeah, blue states are the worst. I mean, I'm not even Republican or Democrat. I don't even bother to vote. I work for myself and myself only. Help my sister. It's good, man. It's good. Yeah, thank you so much. Do you have family in Florida? Do you grow up in Florida?
So I grew up in New Jersey. I grew up in like Patterson, New Jersey area. And I moved down to Florida like about 20 years ago. So we've been down here for a while, and took me a while to get used to, because in Florida it's very different. It's something different to get used to. But once I got used to it and saw how beautiful it is, and then understood the market and was able to start investing, I really started loving it, because it's just once you start being successful, you know. If you ever read a book that you guys need to read, let me throw that in here right now, is The Richest Man, Babylon. Post. And pin. So I posted it and I pinned it. So Richest Man in Babylon. And if you guys on YouTube, Richest Man in Babylon. So
is he a trillionaire?
No, it's a story regarding that. Basically, if I'm going to simplify the story, which is he went and searched the world for what he was looking for, and realized when he came back home that everything he was looking for was right where he was. And once he was able to change his eyes and change his mind, he was able to find all the riches that were truly before him. So like you said, when we change our mind, we're able to change our reality. And that's what really mattered, because I grew up in a negative environment where it felt like you can't do more than what you were given, and that it's not possible. And I started to separate myself from that, because it just was a lot of negativity. And the more I separated from it, the more I thought positive, the more I would see opportunity. And I was able to exercise that opportunity. Now, again, I didn't always win. I failed sometimes, but at least it felt good. I came to this conclusion, which was I'd rather try and fail than just sit there and be a failure. Because if I didn't try at all, I was a failure anyway. I might as well try and fail. And eventually what happened is I started to fail less. You know, it's like Jordan says, you count every shot I made. I count every shot I missed, you know? So I just kept shooting shots until I started like making something happen, getting somewhere. Like when you started trading, you weren't winning every time, right? You were losing.
It was crazy. I saw nothing but numbers. I saw a maze on the screen. I had no idea what I was doing. So when I was in high school, I used to blame it on the system. I had a mindset, oh, this country doesn't really care about the people. And in a way, I feel like the U.S. government needs a lot of work. I was able to change my psychology learning from people in Japan. The Japanese, when they start elementary school, they tend to do a study on children based on what they're good at to exploit their strengths. So if they're good at, I don't know, art, they make them artists. If they're good at music, they make them musicians. And it's really crazy, and it blows my mind how important it is to them to teach children finances and the importance of good debt, bad debt. And it's like, whoa, it's like stuff we pretty much never learned here in the States. And learning that from them is like changed my mindset to the point where I can now be successful and wealthy, but no one in the streets will know, because I'm no longer that flashy person that I used to be. Back in high school, I had to have the freshest days, the freshest shoes, the freshest clothes. And it's like coming back from Japan, it's like, wow, I can literally wear humble clothes per se, but still be wealthy. And no one has to know.
I hear you on that. And that's really smart. And so I think all that is great. And again, like you mentioned, they don't teach that in school. And what we have to do is we have to go on our own and go and find that education, right? So I suggest these books to read. You guys can DM me for whoever wants the list of books to open up your mind. That's all the reason why I created my course, Foundations of Personal Finance, is to teach people all these things that they didn't know about, right? All these things that are gonna help them grow financially, because no one really knows how credit works, how taxes work, how all these different things work until they screw up. And then they're like, oh man, I didn't know this. And then at that point, they're starting from the negative. So when I put out this course, I'm putting it out so I can have people learn all these different aspects of how this actually works. Because why most people are mad is they think it works a certain way, and then they act according to the way they think the game is played, and then find out it's not played that way. And when they find that out, they get really mad because they're like, it's not fair.
Right.
So what I'm trying to do is say, no, guys, this is how the game is played, and this is why it's played this way. And then once the people actually understand that, you're able to go and make the right moves and logically make the right moves, you know. So I agree with you. We're not taught this. I had to actually went to many mentors to learn different things like credit and taxes and real estate investing and finance and all the different things I learned along the way to be able to get to where I'm at today.
Were you impacted or suffered by the COVID-19, especially in like your rental properties or?
I lost, so certain businesses were affected greatly. Well, actually, so let's clarify. All of my businesses were affected, right? This COVID affected everybody. Certain businesses were affected significantly. Like I lost on my one new project, I lost like probably easy $90,000, you know? So, so we're all affected, but I'm positioned in a way where I'm recovering rapidly. And I'm taking advantage of the PPP loans. I'm taking advantage of the ELDI loan or EIDL loans. I'm taking advantage of all these different things that I know are available. And because I keep up on finance, so I'm taking advantage of all these tools that the government has available. So now I'm able to just bounce back fast when other people are still struggling.
Yeah, I was struggling, man. The market was very bipolar. I couldn't trade gold. I couldn't trade commodities. I couldn't trade oil, to the point where I had to learn from a friend of mine how to trade S&P 500. And S&P 500 is basically the most Fortune 500 companies in the state. Mm-hmm. And it blew my mind how this pandemic benefited us as traders, because we pretty much went short. We were making money out of everything bad that was happening. Mm-hmm. And in a way, I'm grateful for it, but at the same time, I feel bad for my parents that had to stay home and couldn't go to work. And my mom works at a salon. My dad works at a auto body shop painting cars. And it felt amazing to me how, even though my parents weren't working, I was still at home supporting the household and paying for all the bills. I never paid for any of the bills my whole life. My parents always did it, but it felt great to do that for them, because, you know, it's awesome. And definitely looking forward to move to Florida and get a multi-unit. I don't know, maybe Tampa. You recommended Tampa, so might as well. I used to go with my friends once a year for vacation to southern Miami. What do you call them? The Key Islands?
Key West.
Southern.
Yeah, Key West. Yeah.
Beautiful place, man.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful place.
Yes, it's beautiful.
The weather.
When you're ready, let me know.
Everything that I'm looking for in Spanish. It's like up here, certain, it's very unfortunate. There are certain spots in New York where you can speak Spanish, and it's like you get that look, man, that they don't like you.
Yeah. Well, if you go to Miami, Miami is not part of the United States. Miami is little Cuba. It's
pretty much.
Miami. First language in Miami is Spanish. Second language is English. So, all right, brother. Well, when you're ready to come, let me know if you need any more help. Stop through. More than happy to help.
Yeah, thank you. All right, man.
Later. What's up, Jojo? Be enlightened. Your hair is looking good. Thank you. All right. Ipov, what's up? Daniel, Pascal tells the truth. Just trying to share. Be enlightened says Pascal is here giving free information and help. He doesn't have to do it, hasn't do this. He's far from a con artist. Some people are so arrogant. Thank you, Being Lane. But people have been following me for a while already know, right? People have been following me for a while, know my information, like know I've been giving out information for like over a year, right? And you can basically, how you're going to judge, you can't judge a person just by one time. You're going to see their actions consistently, right? So I've been doing this, like this live event twice a week for the last year, just helping people run numbers, answer questions. So again, I'm here to help guys. Let me know what questions you have about taxes, insurance, credit, investing, retirement planning. I'm happy to help. So, Jojo King, you can't be forgetting about your loyal YouTube fans, bro. Jojo, I'm not going to forget you. Lucy, good to see you again, Pascal. What's the topic for today? So today, Lucy, I'm just doing a whole bunch of Q&As. I'm interacting with you guys, just answering questions. And again, thank you guys for the thumbs up on YouTube, for all the hearts, for all the love on IG. Come through, ask your questions. I want to be able to help as much as I can. Teach some tax advice, please. So the tax topic is very large. So ask a specific question and I'll be able to kind of give you an in-depth answer to your specific question. I shared my question in the questions section. All right. Let's see. I don't see it. I bought a property 4 years ago. Should I refinance before the market goes down? Yes, 100%. I'm doing the same thing. I'm refinancing, pulling cash out, and just having cash sit on the sidelines because I think the market's going to tank. Question is, what do you think about blockchain? I think blockchain is the future. Do I know exactly which crypto is going to win? I don't, but I do know blockchain is going to be here for a long time. What is your client retention rate? It depends what type of client you're talking about. On average, an insurance client retention rate is 77% for a monoline client. It's 88% for a multi-line client for 2 items. It's in the 92% if it's 3, and it goes up to almost 99% for 4-line item or a client with 4 items with the firm. Accounting clients normally have a long-lasting retention rate as well. HELOC or refinance? I would do both. So I would first refi at 80% LTV and then get a HELOC for the other difference in the money. Right now, the money is very cheap. So getting a refinance at 80% LTV at like a 3.5% rate for a 30-year term is a great rate. And then getting a home equity line of credit from the above 80 for another, like say 4.5%, 5% is also a really good deal too. Daniel says, credit line on a home worth $260K. Oh, $150K. It's my home. Should I do a credit line? I feel it's risky. So Daniel, personally, I'll tell you what I did. I did a refinance at 80% LTV and then took a line of credit for everything above 80%. Now, are you gonna pay interest today while the money's just sitting in your bank account? Yes. But remember this. Let's run the numbers. Okay, I haven't run any numbers today. I'm getting a little antsy. You know, I'm a numbers guy. So let's talk about this, Daniel, right? Let's just say you went all out. You took all the equity out of your house. Your home right now is $260K. All right, and everyone on IG, on YouTube, I'm on YouTube. My name is at Pascal Corcus. On there, the numbers are not backwards, okay? So 260K is your value. You owe 150K. So obviously, guys, it's 110. And let's just say you're paying on average, the additional money is about 4%. Okay, you're going to pay $4,400 a year to borrow this money. It's $110,000. Okay, So now you're borrowing 110,000. That's your cost. Well, this is the thing we gotta keep in mind. It's not the cost that matters. It only matters if you're not gonna make money later. But we're gonna make money because let's just say that money sits in your account for 2 years. You don't even use it for 2 years. You paid $8,800. Your goal is to find a property undervalued. So now, if things work out the way they will, and I'm very positive they will, if you buy a $500,000 property and you get it for $400,000, you saved $100,000 on that property value. You're buying it with 20% down, so it's $80,000 is your down. In 5 years, if you sell that property for $500,000, which I think will be worth more than $500,000, you'll get $180,000 back. So you made $800,000 on that deal. I think it's okay to pay $9,000 in interest to make $100,000. Now, is it uncomfortable? It is uncomfortable to have the money sitting in our account and not doing anything. Yes, it is uncomfortable. But remember, that pressure, we're going to have to build it up over time. And as we build it up, we're going to be able to be financially stronger to be able to make the right financial decisions when the time comes. Now, we know this, that when the market goes down, when the economy is bad, cash is king. Equity in the house doesn't mean anything because that equity that you have today is only based off of market sentiment. If people are happy and they like housing and they like the market, then the house value is high. The house value will disappear in a bad market. It will drop significantly. So might as well take it now before it disappears anyway. And you have the cash in hand so you can go pick up good deals. The problem is when we want the money, if we want to try to do a refinance when the market's down, there isn't any equity available. So you have to take it when it's available. So here's a banker's joke. Remember, for the guys who've been following me for a while, I've been a banker for a while. So this is a banker's joke. A bank will give you money when you don't need it. Remember that. The bank will only give money to people who don't need it. And they don't give money to people who need it. So you take the money when you don't need it because there's going to be a time when you do need it. What does that mean? When you need the money because the market is bad, the economy is down, you lost your job, they won't give it to you. But when you don't need the money and you take these loans, you will have it, it'll be available to you. So remember that. So now all this money, some people are like, well, Pascal, why are you taking this money or taking these loans? You don't need it. And you've been saying you don't have any deals that you want to do right now. There's very few deals out there. The reason is I know very soon, and financially soon is like 12 to 18 months from now, a lot of people are going to need that money. And I'm going to be happy that I have that money available. All right, guys, lots of great questions. So, B Line says, if me and my husband do our taxes as joint married, do you recommend purchasing our first rental property under an LLC or our own name? So it depends because I would have to review your taxes and I have to review your financials to give you the answer, the proper answer. It really depends. If you're new to the game and it's hard for you to get a loan under an LLC and you can't afford the down payment, then you might have to put in your own name. But if you have enough history and you have enough money, then you could put it in an LLC's name and file the taxes as an LLC. So it just depends. I would have to do a financial review to give you the best answer. But you could go either way. So Hugo says, hey, Pascal, what are your thoughts on interest-only loans? Interest-only loans are great. Just remember, when you get an interest-only loan, the interest rate's a little bit higher than a 30-year amortized loan. Now, Right now, interest-only loans are becoming more rare. Daniel H says, that's interesting. Is nothing then. You're welcome. You're welcome. So Lucy says, okay, let me ask you, what is the difference between a DTI on the front end and a DTI on the back end on a FHA loan, for an FHA loan? So front end DTI is just the loan, so DTI, for everyone who doesn't know, okay, so DTI, for whoever that doesn't know, is debt to income. Okay, it's debt to income. So your debt to income ratio. So your front and back. So the front end, I think this is crooked. I don't know. So front end, it's basically, let's just say the loan amount. The loan amount, just your mortgage that you're looking to get, divided by your income. So the back end, it's your loan amount plus all other debt over your income. Okay, so what does that mean? Here, it's the new mortgage, the new property you're looking to purchase divided by how much you're making per month. Your back end is the new loan you're looking to purchase plus your credit card monthly statement plus your car loan monthly statement divided over all your income. So your front end and your back end. So there's two ratios, your front end ratio and your back end ratio. So depending on if your ratios are out of whack, you might not get approved for the loan. That's part of the reason why you need to kind of take my course, the Foundations of Personal Finance, because they'll go over the reasoning, the rationale, the numbers, credit, taxes, loan approval process, what's being looked into a loan to make sure that you're not setting yourself up for failure, right? Whenever I went into getting a loan when I was 19, 20, 21, when I was younger, getting started in the game, I never went to the bank asking for a loan before I knew the answer was yes. I ran all the numbers before I even showed it to them, and I made sure they got to get everything in order. So when I brought it to them, the answer was a yes. I didn't want to bring it to them for the answer to be no or maybe, because otherwise then it goes through additional underwriting in the back office, and which makes it even harder for you to qualify. So if I bring it to them perfectly put together with a nice little bow on it, and they're going to be like, oh, wow, thank you, Pascal. Underwriter's going to be like, stamp, approved. That's what you want to do. So, Daniel, I don't know what that little character means. What does that little character mean? Brett says, so I'm looking at 2 lines of credit for a down payment. How does that work for percentage fees? Any advice on that? Brett, I don't really understand your question. What do you mean by you're looking for 2 lines of credit for a down payment? And what do you mean by percentage fees? I don't understand your question. Daniel says smart. Oh, it means smart? Cool. Lucy says, all the debt showing on your credit report, right? Some of it might not show. How does it count? Well, if they never find out about it, then it won't count. But if it doesn't show up in your credit score and you disclose it, it will count. So that's, it's up in the air how it counts. But basically, all debt that's disclosed, those monthly payments are considered your back-end fees. And remember, Lucy, refinance your car payment. Interest rate's way too high. All right. So how has Corona affected home prices? Currently, Corona has actually increased home prices because there's a lot of properties that are not able to hit the market because the foreclosures have been frozen, evictions have been frozen, so they've not been able to list properties for sale and be able to sell them. A lot of people from up north, Chicago, New Jersey, New York, LA, they're moving out of these cities and moving into areas like Florida, Arizona, Texas, where there's more freedom and there's more space. Because if they're going to get stuck inside again, they don't want to be in a tight space, and they don't want to be in a city where there's a lot of people protesting and possible violence. They want to be in an area where there's a lot more freedom. All right. My cousin makes $1,700 a month. Can she buy an apartment? Yes, she can. It would obviously be a cheaper, lower end apartment, but she could. In Tampa, there's a lot of condos and that are not that expensive. I mean, there's some condos down here in like say Largo area. You could probably get one for like $60,000 is the cost to buy one. So there is a lot of affordable housing down here. All right. Geez, like freezing up on me here. All right. Building a new house soon. Should I wait? So if you have money and you just want to build a house because you want that house and you want to live in it, and after you build the house, you have a ton of money remaining, you can do it. But if you're going to invest, I would wait. If you're going to buy a condo or townhouse, I would wait. But again, if you have a lot of money and just want to build a house, the cost of building homes will not go down when the market tanks. Let me repeat that. The cost of building a home will not go down when the market tanks. Supplies are going to be very hard to find. The cost of goods will not go down. So the prices of building will still stay high. Maybe they'll come down a little bit because right now general contractors are charging a lot for how much they're charging to build homes. Labor costs to find anyone to work in the construction field is very high. It might come down a little bit, but is it going to come down a lot? No. New construction building will not. Now you might find someone that built a lot of new homes and they can't sell them because there's not a lot of people available to buy them. Those homes might be available for a discount, but you're not going to get someone to build you a brand new custom home for a discount. So hope that answers your question. So Ruder says, when you build a home, how much are the tax? When you build a home, all right, disappeared. You did not receive my question. I just wanted to ask you how long did the EIDL loan take? The EIDL loan took me like 3 days to get the money. From the time I applied to the time I got the money in my bank account was like 3 days max. If you guys don't know what the EIDL loan is, the EIDL loan is the emergency it's an economic injury disaster loan, and that's where the government is giving businesses up to $150,000 loan at 3.75% interest on a 30-year AM. I received roughly $430,000 for 6 of my 8 businesses. So it's a great loan that you guys should look into so you can cover your expenses. What are your thoughts on Section 8 housing? Section 8 housing is a great program. The money is coming from the government. That's great. This is the thing you need to be careful of. A tenant that doesn't seem like they're clean does not mean where their money comes from. And what I mean clean is like literally if they take care of themselves. I found it to be this. If a person's car is dirty, you do not want to rent your house to them. Because if they can't keep their car clean, if it's full of trash and empty cans and food and junk food bags from like drive-throughs, what that means is they're gonna treat your house the same way they treat their car. So doesn't matter where their money comes from. So I've seen people with Section 8 housing that I would love to have them because they were super clean and their car was clean and they took care of their stuff. I actually have a lot of Section 8 housing tenants, and they're awesome, and the government pays for most of their rent, and that's awesome. Now, I've had tenants that were on Section 8 and ones that were not on Section 8. And when I saw their car was super dirty, their clothes were super dirty, their shoes were super dirty, and they didn't trash the place in the sense of they destroyed it from like being vicious. They literally just trashed the place because it was so dirty and so many bugs came that it was just disgusting, and it was like just not worth the time, because now you're having to, like, when they move out in a year, because what they do is they trash a place in a year, they don't even clean it, they move out to some other place because they don't understand how to clean. So it's a crazy idea, but it's real. Like, people live like that. Lines of credit are better with small banks than big banks. Lines of credits usually small banks are offering more money for a lower rate. So Brett says, to raise capital, I'm looking at 2 lines of credits. How do the fees combine? And is that the way to go? So they no longer allow 2 lines of credits on a single home. Now they'll allow a first mortgage and then a line of credit after that. But they normally do not allow that anymore. In the past, back when I was a banker, they would allow that, but today they don't. It's very rare to find that. What happened, Versa? I don't know. I added you and then you disappeared. What is the best piece of property to purchase when starting out? The best property to purchase is either a duplex, triplex, or quadplex, right? 2, 3, or 4. That is going to be the best properties to buy, because you can live in one unit and rent out the other, and your cost of living is very low. Plus, the money that's coming in from the tenant gets added to your income, so it's easier to qualify for a larger loan. Remember to advise people considering lines of credits from any small bank regarding chattel laws. That's a large, detailed topic. Simply be careful on your line of credit. Be careful on the loans you're getting, and do not over leverage yourself. Make sure whatever loan you're taking, you'll be able to pay back. Is this a math class? No, this is an investing class. This is a finance class. So if you're looking to build your credit up, get your tax returns right, or to build financial freedom, buy real estate, come here with your questions, and I'll be able to help you out.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Do you think real estate agent is a good job? A real estate agent is good if you are if you love being a real estate agent, right? So like, if you like sales, you're gonna like being a real estate agent. If you like helping people, you're gonna like being a real estate agent. But you have to really care about helping people and being constantly encouraging and moving people into the right direction to meet their goals. It is a lot of work to be an agent. Don't just think about the money, because only 20% of the agents make 80% of the money. 20% of the agents make very little. 80% of the agents make very little money. All right. Merrick says, honest opinion on Luke Van Dam. So I think Luke's pretty good, man. Luke was here till like 10 o'clock, right before we left the class. He was here working, getting together. Right now, we were putting out an email because it's the 4th of July weekend, and we hit over 200,000 followers on IG. So we put out a special. We got our course out for 50% off as a thank you for following. You guys have been awesome. I really appreciate all the love you guys have been giving me, the support, liking all the posts, commenting, sharing with your friends, everybody on YouTube as well. Thank you guys for all the love. So we're going to put out a discount for the course. We emailed it out for all the people that submitted their emails in the past. For anyone that wants a 50% discount on the course, just DM me 50% and I'll send you the link, and you'll be able to get the course Foundations of Personal Finance at 50% off and be able to build your financial freedom so you can be able to buy all those real estate deals when they come up available. So they're going to come up available in the next 12 to 24 months. Lots of real estate, lots of discounted real estate in the next 12 to 24 months. So if you're thinking about buying now, I would wait. Get your finances in order. Make sure that when you're going to buy these properties, you're educated, and make sure that you're able to be approved from the bank when you're going to buy these deals. All right. Let's see. Is real estate prices going down because of COVID-19? Is it better to wait if you want to buy an apartment? So one, I don't advise buying an apartment. I advise buying a duplex, triplex, or quadplex, because then you could live in one side and have the other tenant pay most of your bills. And if you buy right, you can actually have them pay you while you live there for free. Is the market going to go down because of COVID? The market's going to go down, and it had nothing to do with COVID. Our economy and the global economy is very weak. Has been weak for a number of years. Now, what they've been doing is they've been constantly lowering interest rates to help companies survive. And now it's come to the point where they can't lower interest rates any lower, and the companies still cannot survive. Because remember this, most companies' profit margins are like 10%. So that means it's the last 10% of money they make that's actually making them a profit. So a lot of these companies didn't just lose 10% of their business. They lost like 30, 40% of their business. So now they are negative. They are actually running negative, and they had to take money out of their savings. And what has been shown is none of these companies have a savings, because what they've been doing is buying back stock and constantly expanding the amount of debt that they have to expand. But their expansion was not a profitable expansion. So what I'm trying to say is they ran out of money, and most of these companies are going bankrupt. You're going to hear it in the news. If you're following financial news, a lot of companies are laying off a ton of people, and they're not going to hire them back. They're shutting down thousands of locations, and they're not going to reopen. So it's going to be really rough in the next 12 to 24 months. So save your money, get prepared, build your finances, because for those that are prepared are going to be able to get a lot of buying opportunities. So get yourself prepared for it. COVID just popped the bubble. The bubble was always there. So if you look at my video that I put out August of 2019, I was saying the end of 2020, 2021, the market's going down. Had nothing to do with COVID, but COVID was the thing that popped the bubble, right? So I just finished my 75-hour real estate agent class. I'm super pumped, but sometimes I get discouraged. Advice? Remember this. Help people. Just help people. And if you help enough people, you're going to get rewarded. So do that and enjoy what you're doing at the same time, because then you don't need as much money to be happy. And as long as you keep on doing it while you're happy, people are going to get a lot of value out of it. So just help people, enjoy what you're doing, and just do that. And then you'll naturally just be happy, right? You're going to be grateful. So this, it says, being grateful doesn't come from joy, but joy comes from being grateful. So just remember to be grateful, thank God for what you have, and joy will come. Appreciation will be there. Your joy will be there, right? So, and that's hard. That's really, really hard. So that's my piece of advice. Buy a fourplex now and wait for the real estate market to correct. Question mark. If you get a good deal, I will buy properties in a hot market, in a flat market, in a down market, because it's not the market that matters. It's the deal that matters. Right. Right now, I'm in the process of buying. I just closed on a house, and I'm going to remodel it, and I'm going to sell it. But I'm telling you guys, don't buy deals. I'm saying don't buy the standard average retail deal that's out there. You need to make sure that you're getting amazing discounts, amazing opportunities, then buy it. So I'm looking at another property. It's an 8-unit property. It's about $880,000. Now, I plan on buying it, remodeling it, and then refinancing, because when I'm done, it should be worth more than that. If I do everything right, it's going to be worth more than that. So I'm not concerned about the market at that point, because it's still going to be worth more than even if the market comes down. So you have to make sure that when you're buying a deal, that you're getting a good value. And value doesn't disappear. Prices disappear, but value doesn't. So make sure you're getting good value, good cash flow, right? Cash flow is key. You're still getting good. So let me give you a little story, guys. So back when the market tanked in 2008, most people that I knew went bankrupt. Now, I was 23 years old, and I was able to hold on to what I had. How did I do that? When I bought my properties, I got 30-year fixed rate loans. I made sure I was getting good cash flow, and the money I was making was more than my expenses. And even though the prices fell to half of what the price I bought them for, and it's sometimes even less than that, I still made money every single month, and I still was able to pay my mortgage because the value disappeared. That didn't matter because I wasn't selling that year. The value of the property doesn't matter. It only matters if you're planning to sell that year. So I was like, I'm not planning to sell for 10 years. So it didn't matter to me. I kept paying my mortgage. I kept on keeping the difference. So I brought in $10,000. I spent $8,000. I kept $2,000 a month. Now that's just an example. In reality, I was making in more like $20,000, and my expenses were around like $16,000, $17,000. So I was keeping $3,000 to $4,000 a month. So again, it didn't matter what the fact that, say, the property went from $3 million to $1.5 million. So be focused on value and cash flow. Are the foreclosed deals similar to 2007 to 2009 prices? I don't know if they're going to go that low. Why I don't know is because there's a lot. If you study the financial news, you're going to see there's a lot of hedge funds raising billions of dollars to buy real estate, billions. And they're going to come and buy a bunch of properties from the banks. So if they're going to come and buy up all those properties, so it's going to cause less properties for us to buy. So the same thing happened to me in 2011. I was going to buy a bunch of properties. At that same time, all these hedge funds bought a ton of properties. So it left very few for me to buy that were worth buying. In 2014, the same thing happened. A new round of hedge funds bought a whole bunch of properties, which then made the prices jump up like 30% in that 1 year. Again, made the options, the selection, the amount of properties that were worth buying limited. So how many and how deep the price is going to be, that's still questionable. But I do know that the prices are going to come down and there's going to be a great buying opportunity. When are we going to see this? I'll call it, right? I'm going to call my shot, because then you're going to know, okay, Pascal, I'm going to hold you accountable because you're putting out this information to measure my accuracy. I'm going to say it's going to be around May 2021. At that time, we're going to see the forbearances are going to be over. A forbearance was put in place saying that people did not have to pay their mortgage for 12 months and the banks had to give them an extension. After that 12-month period of time, you owe all 12 months of the mortgage payments. Most people are not going to be able to afford that. So at that point, what they're going to say is, okay, we're going to give you a loan modification. So when they do the loan modification, you still have to prove income. You're going to have to show you're still working. Well, if they can't, they're not going to get the loan modification and they're going to be foreclosed upon. So you're going to hear about the huge amount of homeowners, the large quantity of homeowners are going to be foreclosed on, the large quantity of tenants that are going to be evicted. And when they start releasing that information in 2021, then people are going to start getting scared. Housing prices are going to fall harder. Stock market is going to fall hard. Gold is going to rise. That's my prediction. Hold me to it. Okay? And I'm not saying this because I want this to happen, guys. I'm saying this because the data is showing this, right? It's like the doctor that says, hey, you're going to have a heart attack. And then one day you do have a heart attack. The doctor doesn't want you to have a heart attack. It's the fact that the data is saying it will happen. We are not changing anything we're doing in this country so we can prevent our heart attack. That's the thing. We're not making changes. Now, what I think will help, so I'm not a doom and gloom guy. What do I think is going to help? I think if we bring back manufacturing into this country, we stop relying on China, we actually fix our import-export issue, which is the issue is this. We're importing a lot more than we're exporting. So we're constantly running at a deficit. We need to bring back more jobs into the country. We need to bring back more manufacturing. Then we're going to be building up the middle class. America will have more money. Americans will have more money. And then we will be a stronger country. So that is what I think needs to happen. And the other thing that's going to be a big factor that will fix our deficit, our national deficit, is when the government legalizes marijuana and tax the heck out of it. If they do that, it'll be a big change. We'll be able to fix our national deficit as well. Do you believe that's why Warren Buffett offered additional Berkshire Hathaway stock for roughly $1 billion to cover the next year overhead and profit and loss? It's possible. I think Warren Buffett is probably raising more cash. I think he didn't buy properties when the market tanked last time because he believes that it didn't go down enough and that it's going to go down again. I believe it's going to go down again. I'm calling a double dip in the drop. I'm going to say that the drop is going to be pretty bad. We're going to get better, and then drop. So I think that's why he didn't buy. I think he wants a better deal, and he knows a better deal is coming, and I'm with him on that. What does the model BMW own? I own the BMW i8. How do you work it when using a line of credit for down payment? So you can't really use a line of credit like if you have a business line of credit, you could try to use that for your down payment, or like a credit card line of credit for a down payment. But otherwise, you still need to come up with a 3.5% down. Now, you can go to different government organizations or non-for-profits to give you the 3.5% down for the down payment. You can use your friends and family to help you with the 3.5% down payment. You can use your 401k for the 3.5% down payment, or you can also use a seller credit towards the 3.5% down payment. You can use a combination of all 5 of those items to help you put up the money for the down payment. Now, again, you should not be focusing just on the down payment. What you should be focused on is finding an awesome deal, because that is what matters. And then when you find the awesome deal, then you should really use those 5 factors that I just mentioned, or 5 options I just mentioned, to help afford the down payment. Now, again, you should try to have more than 3.5% down, because you should have a reserve in case anything breaks. So project says, keys, help people. Joy comes from being helpful. That is true. All right. So Daniel on YouTube says, lines of credit is better with big banks or small banks? I said small banks. And Daniel says, credit line example you have done. On my house, I got $145,000 line of credit at 4.5% interest, and it's an interest-only loan. And I use that when I need to buy whatever I want to buy. Another business, another property, to use it on construction and then pay it back. It's just whatever I need. Hugo says, how does saving money when rehabbing a property increase the sale price of the property? It doesn't. Saving money when rehabbing a property, it doesn't increase the price, it increases your profit. So saving money will increase your profit when rehabbing a property. Now, if you increase the value of the property, that'll increase this resale price, which increases your profit. Yeah. So Michelle says, 42 unit property is for sale in SI, New York. How am I figure out if this good price and investment without being able to compare it to other properties, being that this isn't something that comes around often? Michelle, send me some more information and I'll run the numbers for you. What's the best bank? So each bank is good at different things. So it depends what type of loan you're looking for, what type of relationship you're looking for. So it differs on what bank is the best. I don't know. QNS says, if you had to start over, how much money will you save up to, and what would be your first property purchase? So if I had to start over, I would save up as much as I could, but it doesn't really take that much to buy your first deal. I would buy a fourplex. So let's just say I bought a fourplex, it's worth $500,000. And yes, you can find fourplexes in the Tampa market for $500,000. So let's look at this. $500,000 property at 3.5%. $500,000 property, your down payment is 3.5%. Okay. $17,500. That is how much money down you need for a $500,000 property. I was able to save up $32,000 by the time I was 19 when I bought my first property. But $17,500 is all you need to buy your first property. Now again, it's not about buying a $500,000 property. It's about finding a good deal and making sure it cash flows, making sure the property is profitable. The goal is to live in one of the 4 units and have the other 3 units pay you more than your mortgage, taxes, insurance, and maintenance will cost. This way you are living for free and not have to worry about constantly fixing the property because you have enough money coming in. At that point, you are upgrading every single unit so you can build wealth. Now, let's just say you make a lot of money and you don't need to do this, right? I make a lot of money. We have people that are following me that are like, doctors, lawyers, that are doing different things in finance, that are making a lot of money. Yes, okay, you don't need to do that. You can invest with someone else to do that. You can invest in a larger property, larger project. But the point is, it's not the money, it's the deal. And when we start realizing that the profitability of the deal is not on the price you're paying, that is when you're going to really start winning. Because most people will try to buy a condo for $100,000 and say, hey, it's cheap, it's easier, it's so on. And they're going to figure out that it is not easier to make money on a condo. It's harder because it's of all the fees that are associated and how much profit you're making is actually none. It's negative. King says, hey, do you save this? Yes, I do. I'll save it on YouTube. If you go on my YouTube, it's at Pascal Corcus. It'll be uploaded tomorrow at 10 a.m. So Master says, what is a good deal per unit on a fourplex? 100K per a unit? Question mark. So Master, it really depends on your market, because in one area, you know, my properties are worth, like, say, roughly, you know, like 60,000 a unit. But in another area, my fourplex is worth like 250,000 a unit. So the market, the city determines what the value is. It's not the price you're paying. Remember, it's cash flow. It's what the current market cap rate is. What cap rate are you buying at? What cap rate can you bring it to? How much value can you build? All those factors matter. So let's just say you bought a fourplex at 400,000 and it's worth 400,000. But then you have to put in $100,000 to fix it up. So now you bought it for 4, you spent 100, now you're in for 500. But it's only worth 400. That's not a good deal. So you have to look at the numbers to determine where's your value. All right, so Michelle sent me the address of the property. All right, let's check this out. You guys can see me run some numbers. It's gonna get fun. Been a long day, guys. All right, so Michelle sent me an address. It's 662 Port Richmond Ave, Staten Island, New York. They're asking $14 million. Okay, so let's do this. So step one, you got a property here. It's 14 M's. All right, it's 14 million for this deal. So for this deal, you're gonna have to put 20% down. So you're gonna need 2.8 million down, and roughly it's gonna be about $100,000 in closing costs and fees, right? So let's just say plus 0.1, so it's 2.9 million to do this deal. Nothing's broken, nothing's wrong. So now it's 21,840 square feet. So it's like $700 a square foot. So that's very high in my market. The nicest area is $350 a square foot. So that's really high. So it's 42 unit residential building plus office. All right. Fully occupied, centrally located. Okay. Estimate mortgage payment, 48,000 a month. Let's just say it's 49,000 a month for the mortgage. Property taxes are 10,000 a month. Home insurance is 5,000 a month, so it's another 15,000. So it's 64K a month. That's the estimate, right? For this property. So the question, Michelle, is it doesn't say how much the rent is. So how much is the rent on this property? Julian, to answer your question, yes, my class does have a loan chapter, and I'm actually working on the loan chapter right now. Should be posted Friday. Maybe not every section of the class, the loan section of the class, but some of it will be posted by Friday. So yes, it does have a loan section. So Michelle, I need to know how much is each unit. It says 40 something, 42 units. So I need to know how much is the rent per unit. So it says 2 bedrooms, $2,400 rent. That seems like it's, so looking at the numbers, It says 42 units, right, Michelle? 42 units, and it's 21,000 square feet. That's 500 square feet a unit. So you're telling me that 2 bedrooms are 500 square feet? That's really small. It's very, very small. But let's just make believe that's correct. So this is the expense. So we'll put a negative here. So 42 units at $2,400. All right, so we're going to be roughly $100,000 a month. $84,000, $100,000 a month is the income. Expenses, $36,000 is the net income. Times 12. So 420,000 a year. That's not a bad return on a $2.9 million loan or $2.9 million down payment amount. So annual income divided by the amount purchased. That's not bad for New York. But the reality is this, something doesn't add up, because how is a 500 square foot apartment 2 bedrooms? It feels like it's more like a 1 bedroom. Yeah, brother. The numbers are backers on IG. On YouTube, they're not. It's just an issue with IG. My YouTube is at Pascal Corcus. And everyone on YouTube, thanks for the thumbs up. I really appreciate the love. I appreciate you guys for all the love on the IG. I love it too. Thank you guys. I think I like the positive encouragement. No clue how I ended up here, but glad I fell into this page. Super useful. Thanks, Castro. All right, guys, what questions you got? So if you go, all right. So Michelle says 2 bedroom for $2,400 rent. I was thinking the same thing. Hugo says 14% cash on cash. Yeah, that sounds like really high for New York. Like that's not normal for New York. So the other thing, so let's touch on that. Let's stick onto this topic, right? 14% cash on cash is extremely high on New York. Question could be, how many tenants are paying? Because right now in New York, 12 months you can go without having to pay your rent. So how many are not paying? Maybe they're trying to slide and pass along all these non-paying tenants to you. Next question, how much is the deferred maintenance? Because yes, this is a high return, but if you find out that this property has so much work that needs to be done and the cost to repair everything here is like $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, because again, on a $15 million property, you can have $2-3 million in expenses. It's not hard. I just bought a $7,000 square foot property, right? This one's 21,000. It's 3 times bigger. And I spent like $800,000 on the remodel. It's easy for you to spend $2.4 million on this deal. So what is the deferred maintenance, right? That matters. Deferred maintenance, meaning what else needs to be fixed that they've been ignoring? Because there could be a lot of things that need to be fixed. The plumbing, the electrical, the AC, the roof, all expensive items. Michelle says, I text the realtor and she said 2 bedrooms, which is tiny. Gianni says, Go. Thanks. Michelle says, thank you for running the numbers. So interesting to watch. Michelle also says, exactly. That's probably why they're selling. Again, I can't tell you the due diligence. Due diligence basically means you're going in there, you're asking questions, all of the questions to make sure that you have every single one answered, to know when you're buying this property, what are you getting into? The last property I purchased was basically empty. Had bug problems, rodent problems, electrical problems, plumbing problems, roofing problems, tenant problems. I mean, one tenant was a hoarder. He had, no joke, 5 pounds of cat shit in one spot. Like, it was disgusting. Again, let me tell you this. I used to clean out septic tanks. When they were backed up and broken and no one would fix it, I would fix my own when I was like 20, 23, because I didn't have the money to pay someone else. Okay? So I've done some dirty jobs. But when I walked into this guy's unit, I almost threw up. It was that bad. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if there's a property with problems, you don't have to be scared. You don't have to run away. But you need to know what the problems are so you can pay the appropriate price to fix those problems. Because where you make your money in real estate is by being a problem solver. So if you pay me enough money, if you give me a big enough discount on the purchase, I'll fix those problems for you. You can leave the property as is. I will fix them, but you have to give me the proper discount to take on those problems. Can radon gas kill a deal? No, it won't kill a deal, but you need to make sure that you have enough money discounted on the property to resolve the issue. Now, if it comes to the point that it's unresolvable, then yeah, it can kill a deal. Like if you buy a property and it has contaminated soil, and to fix the soil is $1 million job, and the property is only worth $500,000, then yeah, it could kill a deal because it's going to cost more money than the property's worth. How do I get into real estate at 18? Any advice? So I got into real estate when I was 19. I started studying the game when I was around 14, and it took me years to get my credit, my taxes, everything in order. That's why I put out the class, Foundations of Personal Finance. This way you can work on getting it in order now, so nothing's going to hold you back, right? Because again, we're not taught financial freedom. We're not taught this stuff: credit, taxes, real estate, mortgages, lending. We don't know any of this stuff. We weren't taught this. So I put this together in a course to basically give you all the advice, everything I learned that took me from 0 units to 23 units. Now, again, you can go online and study and read all these books. It took me 5 years. I try to compile all that information in one course to basically get you like supercharged, move you ahead quicker. Studying your market is another thing that you need to do. Because once you have this information, you're going to be able to get your finances in order to qualify for a loan, get a great interest rate, make sure you can understand which deals are a good deal compared to running the numbers. But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean you shouldn't study your market, because you still have to study your market to know what's a good deal. If you don't study your market, you don't know that this type of building could have bad roofs, bad plumbing, bad heaters. By studying your market, you're going to know that this is a common issue for these properties here, that these type of tenants live in this area. So be careful. This neighborhood has a lot of people that don't pay their rent. So you can have that problem. No one's going to know that without studying their market. So you have to do that. Which area would more likely to find a 4-unit at $500K? Jacksonville, Florida, Orlando, Florida, anywhere in the mid-United States. I wouldn't really advise buying there personally. I like the warmer states. So yeah, Jacksonville, Orlando, Tampa, Arizona, lots of places in Arizona, Texas, lots of places in Texas. What's the best way to study one's market? Basically go on Zillow, go on Craigslist, go on Facebook, go on Realtor, look at deals that sold, look at what's for sale, look at how much they're renting, and look at what the condition of the property is when they're each of those factors. Because a new property, how much is being rented for, or a remodeled property's rent is going to be higher than a non-remodeled one. So maybe you might find a deal that you buy, and then you see, wow, if I remodel, I'm going to make a lot more money. You buy it, you remodel it, you refinance it, and you make a lot of money. So that's another thing that I do. I do the BRRRR method on apartment complexes. All right. Julian says, research is a key in life, always regardless what you're into. True. Research is important. Hugo says, what should the tenants pay the utility bill, or should I include it in the rent? When you can actually have the tenant pay it directly, it's better. It is best if you can do that, to have them pay it directly. Daniel, what's up with that face? I don't know what that means. All right. So guys, this was awesome. So happy to help you guys. So happy to answer the questions. It was a lot of fun. Remember, my course, Foundations of Personal Finance, is out. It's at 50% discount for the next few days. So get it while it's on sale. It's 50% off. The link is in the bio. If you can't find it, DM me 50% and I'll send you a link directly. It's going to teach you about credit, tax returns, finding deals, mortgages, and the way an intelligent investor thinks. Facebook group is going to be coming soon for everyone who buys the course. And I'm actually going to have a special live event only for the people who buy the course, so I can answer them directly for any deals that they have found, so I can make sure that go into detail for their deals. So I appreciate all the love. And again, I'll be live Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Be blessed. And thank you guys again for all the likes, for all the love, for sharing my account, for getting me to 200,000 followers, for just being supportive and commenting and sharing. I really do appreciate that. And, I love you guys. See you later.